Hello, my name is Philippa Langley. This short series of films has been done in celebration of the first 100 years of research, the centenary of the Richard III Society. It is one of the oldest and largest historical societies in the world. We hope that you enjoy them. Thank you. Richard III is sometimes called a usurper, but is this term accurate? In order to consider this, we first need to understand what the word means. A usurper is defined as a person who takes a position of power or importance illegally or by force, a usurper of the throne. So did Richard III assume the throne illegally or by force? No one denies that after the death of Edward IV in 1483, Richard replaced Edward's son, Edward V, on the throne. What matters is why Edward V could not inherit. Edward IV had a reputation as a ladies' man, some say a libertine. As with any medieval individual, we don't know much about his private life, but we do know the following facts. Edward IV was considered one of the handsomest princes in Europe. King Louis XI of France's idea of entertaining him was to offer him women. Edward IV had several mistresses and fathered bastards, that is, illegitimate children. Edward took a wife, Elizabeth Woodville, who was a subject and a commoner. He married her because she pleased him, rather than undertaking a diplomatic marriage with foreign royalty in order to benefit the realm. He married her in secret and kept it secret for several months. Edward IV also had a bigger secret. 3 years before, he had secretly married Lady Eleanor Talbot, the youngest daughter of the Earl of Shrewsbury. Eleanor was still living, and their marriage had not been annulled when Edward bigamously and secretly married Elizabeth Woodville. We know about the first marriage because Bishop Stillington revealed that he'd been present. In medieval times, no formal marriage service was necessary, and you could marry privately and simply by saying, "I marry you," or you could say, "I will marry you." But it became a marriage automatically if you then had sexual intercourse. Stillington testified that this is what happened between Edward and Eleanor. Both marriages were illicit in the eyes of the church because no bans were called. Bans existed to make marriage public in case of any prior impediment, the speak now or forever hold your peace part of a wedding ceremony. Okay, so let's cut through the legal jargon used by the near-contemporary Crowland Chronicle because it has confused so many people. The first secret marriage, the Talbot marriage, was not a betrothal or engagement or contract between families. It was a marriage and recognised as a marriage in an Act of Parliament. This is also confirmed in another chronicle, which states Bishop Stillington was present when Edward IV and Eleanor Talbot met privately, and he promised to marry her in order to bed her. He then slept with her, which in the 15th century constituted marriage. Commons is quite clear that playing this game was not uncommon, and results like Edward IV's were not uncommon either. As we have seen, because both marriages were secret, there is no documentary record of either of them for historians to point to. It needs to be understood that any marriage without calling bans was illicit in the eyes of the church. Therefore, both the Talbot and Woodville marriages were illicit. It might have been possible for Edward IV to sort out this mess with the church while he was alive, but nothing could be done once he was dead. The position in 1483 was that Edward's second marriage was bigamous. Therefore, all its offspring were legitimate under church law, and illegitimate children could not inherit under English law. Normally, a bishop's court would consider everyday questions of illegitimacy, However, this was more important and urgent because it concerned the throne of England. The position was considered by the King's Council, which had at least 16 bishops in its membership, including 2 archbishops. The council postponed Edward V's coronation till November and referred the matter upwards to the 3 estates of Parliament for decision. These were the Lords, the Church and the Commons. And on the 25th to the 26th of June, the 3 estates recorded in writing that Edward IV's Woodville children were illegitimate and could not succeed to the throne. The next legitimate successor was Edward IV's younger brother, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, and he was offered the crown. Richard III was petitioned to become king by the 3 estates of Parliament and then elected king by them. In accepting the throne, Richard did not take the throne illegally or by force. All copies of King Richard's legal title to the throne would be destroyed on the orders of his successor, the first Tudor monarch, Henry VII. But 1 copy survived, whether by mismanagement or secret concealment. So thank you for watching. We hope that these have been helpful. And if you want to find out more about any of these subjects, please visit the Richard III Society website. Thank you.